Hello, my name is Duncan Moss and I'm a lay minister here in Verwood, and this is my thought for this coming week. This Sunday, in many churches in this country, the New Testament reading is about the Transfiguration of Jesus. It is a very strange story indeed. Shortly after Peter had told Jesus for the first time that he believed he was God's Son, Jesus took Peter and a few other of his disciples up to the top of a high hill, and when he was up there, Jesus' appearance changed in front of his disciples. We are told that his face changed, and his clothes became as bright as a flash of lightning. A surreal world was breaking through. It must have been a little disturbing for those disciples, but Jesus wanted to show them that there was a supernatural side to himself. Also, the disciples saw two other individuals who they believed were the spirits of Moses and Elijah, who had lived many centuries earlier. Jesus was showing his disciples that there was more to the whole of existence than just the three dimensions that we live in. There is a spiritual dimension that we do not see, and it is hidden from our eyes. But many do not accept that. They hold the view that there is nothing else in existence other than what we see. We have often heard it quoted, "Well, there really isn't any serious evidence for the spiritual world or this other dimension that you religious people talk about." Well, there are many highly respected scientists who have approached this from a purely scientific basis and would disagree with that. And indeed there is a branch of science that acknowledges that. There is also an annual award called the Templeton Prize, which is given to an individual whose achievements in harnessing the power of sciences to explore the deepest questions of the universe and humankind's place and purpose within it. One such recipient was a French physicist and philosopher, Bernard Despagnat. His work points to evidence of the spiritual dimension, and he concluded a concept of veiled reality, one that lies behind the world that we cannot touch and see. In his work he did experiments that demonstrated that reality is far more than can be explained by the mere three dimensions that we currently experience. Like Bernard, many scientists at the cutting edge of physics are agreeing. When Jesus was on that hilltop, he showed to some of his disciples that he came from a spiritual dimension and that he was and still is a supernatural God. The Bible tells us clearly that God is spirit, and he lives in that dimension hidden from our physical eyes. For God has placed himself there, such that whilst he cannot be proved, he certainly cannot be dismissed. The Bible does not tell us a vast amount about the workings of that spiritual world, but tells us enough for us to be certain of it, and that God is God of that as well. As Christians, we believe that after we die, we arrive in God's presence in that spiritual world to spend our eternity in the next chapter of our existence with him. What a promise by God to mankind, that if we have that faith in him, our future is secured. As we go about our everyday lives, it is very easy to dismiss that there is more to life than what we see. So we must continually remind ourselves of events like that transfiguration of Jesus, so that we do not lose faith in the hereafter. Thank you for listening.